We have seen this diagram in last lecture. This is stress versus strain curve of mild steel. Okay, uh, let me show you that experimental setup for this particular diagram. Um, okay, here you can see that experimental setup for Hooke's law. Here are two arms are there. Okay, left one and right one. uh, Here tube level is provided because there will be relative motion of these two arms with respect to each other. Then at this point two identical wires are folded. Okay, you have to rotate the screw and the hole will open. You have to fit that experimental wire, both that experimental wire into this particular slots. Then you can see the tube level over here in which bubble is there, which shift on moving this, or when the vertical motion of this arm takes place, this bubble will shift towards rightward or leftward. Then next one is, you can see over here, these two arms. Then the scale. Okay, there are two scales are over here, rotary scale, and this one is uh, scale, straight scale over here. Okay, then let me show you some more. Okay, now when this arm goes down, the tube level bubble in this tube level shift toward the right side. Now that means this arm has got lowered. Therefore, again by rotating this screw, you have to uh, balance this bubble at center. Again you have to load this arm, and same procedure you have to do. Let's see what actually, or these are the things that while calculation or while taking observation we have to do. Let's start with the experiment, or how the experiment is conducted. Now here at these 2 points, the provision is provided, or provision is there for applying load. Initially for both the arms, half kg load is applied. Now because what the bends in that wire will get removed, and then by 1 kg incremental load, 1 kg 2 kg 3 kg, in this way load is increased to the right arm. Now in this way the load is applied. Now we have to calculate stress and strain. Okay, stress is what? Force upon area. Okay, what will be the force? The weight applied into gravitational force. This will be in Newton. Okay, now what about area? We have the diameter of that wire, therefore we can calculate the area. Therefore we can also calculate the stress, that is force upon area. Force is what? Weight, mass into gravitational acceleration, that is sigma is equals to, we have to calculate sigma is equals to mass into gravitational acceleration. It will be the force upon area of that wire, that is equals to pi by 4 d square. Okay, this will be the stress on that particular wire. Now what about strain? How will you calculate the strain? Now here you can see in this wire, in this right side wire, there will be elongation every time. After increasing load step by step, you will see the elongation of wire. That means if there is elongation, that means there is a strain. Therefore by I have shown you that how to take the readings, or that on that rotary and linear scale. So just take that reading of change in length, you will have the original length of wire. Therefore by using formula of strain, longitudinal strain is equals to what? Change in length upon original length. Therefore you can calculate the strain also, and by calculating the stress and strain for every incremental mass, you will have the diagram that we have just discussed about. Okay, let's go to it again. Okay, this one is that diagram we were looking for. This is the stress versus strain curve. We have already discussed about all these points O, P, Q, R, S, T, U. Let me recall again. P is proportional limit, Q elastic limit, R upper yield point, S lower yield point, then T is ultimate load point, and U is a breaking point. Let's see one by one all of them. The tensile test is taken by applying a tensile load on a mild steel material testing specimen, that is UTM, universal testing machine, which is hydraulically operated, and graph is also plotted automatically, or computerized arrangement is provided there. You just you just have to go there and turn that machine on. Okay, for industrial purpose this machine is actually made, and for us the experiment that I had shown you, which is used. Okay, now as we increase the load on the specimen, stress will induce, and corresponding to that strain is also induced. I have told you how the stress is what is stress and how is the strain to calculate. There are some following option points to be discussed which are lie on the stress strain curve. Okay, one by one let's see all of them. First one was proportional limit. First one was proportional limit. If tensile force is applied to a mild steel bar, it will have some extension. Obviously, it is. If you apply some load of any, like rubber, if you apply load to the rubber, it will stretch. Okay. Now let's see some extension. If the force is small, the ratio of stress to strain will remain proportional, and the graph will be straight line up to P. Okay, up to P, the graph will be straight line. Now. So from point O to P, the limit of proportionality is there. Okay, O to P, that gap is called as limit of proportionality. Now second is next one is elastic limit. If force is considerably increased, the material will experience elastic deformation up to point Q. The mild steel material regain its original shape and size after removal of load. Applied that means material has same elastic property up to Q. So this point B is known as elastic limit. Okay. Then next one is R and S. These are the upper yield point and lower yield point. What is meant by yielding? Without increase of load, there is increasing strain. Okay. That means you have applied. Let us assume one condition that you have applied load of 5 kg, and without increasing load further you are observing strain. Okay, you have kept that load for a while and you are still looking that, or you are observing that the strain or that wire is getting elongated at the same load. Okay, now that is meant by yielding. Yield stress is defined as stress after which material extension takes place more quickly with no or little increase of load. If you don't increase the load or stress, even though there will be elongation, that is meant by yield or yield point. Plastic stage will reach beyond the point Q. After that Q point, plastic stage reaches. That means what is plastic body? It deform permanently. That means for this particular wire, after particular load, there will be permanent deformation. Okay, there will be permanent deformation. If we remove the load, the material will not be able to regain its original shape and size. Point R and S are called upper yield and lower yield point. Now T is ultimate stress. What is ultimate stress? It is maximum value. At point T, we will get maximum value of stress known as ultimate stress. In the tension test, we will get the largest value of stress. Ultimate stress point is the maximum strain that the material have to bear stress before breaking. It is the peak point on the stress strain graph. After point T, material cannot bear more stress. Okay, you can see that in the diagram here there is a T point. Okay, T point is the maximum stress point. Okay, beyond this point there is no stress. Okay, that means ultimate. That's why it is called as ultimate tensile stress. Then ultimate stress beyond it the maximum strength that the material have to bear stress before breaking. It is the peak point on the stress strain graph. After point T, material cannot be or cannot bear any more. You can see over here, if you don't apply load, okay, you can see the stress is reaching maximum, okay. At ultimate tensile stress is reaching maximum, then this point is below, then this ultimate tensile stress is what, sorry, breaking stress is what, it is less than quite ultimate. That means though after ultimate tensile stress, if you decrease the stress, then also the wire will break. Okay, let's discuss some more points. This is how the wire will breaking stress. At breaking, after the specimen has reached the ultimate stress, we will see a neck formation. At ultimate stress, neck will form on the wire like this. Okay, that means the load is applied in this direction, okay, tensile load, and the deformation occurs transverse. Therefore this type of load is called a shear load. Okay, shear strain or shear stress will occur over there. Let's see. After the specimen has reached the ultimate stress, we will see a neck formation where the cross-sectional area becomes reduced. The stress is therefore reduced until the specimen breaks away at point U. The stress at U is known as breaking stress. Okay, therefore at that U, the stress is called as breaking stress. Now, next concept is working stress. Okay, working stress. Working stress. What is working stress? It is the ratio of direct load or actual load to the original cross-section area of the specimen is called as working stress. That means if we have to design any machine in which if any bar is subjected to load, then in that particular bar, working stress will be what? Actual load upon its actual area or actual cross-sectional area. Here you have the formula given. Working stress is equals to direct load or working load upon original cross-section area. Safe working stress is known as maximum allowable stress. This safe working stress is called as maximum allowable stress. Safe working stress is always less than elastic limit for a given material. Okay, you must keep in mind this thing, that the working stress should always be less than elastic limit, because if the material deform on the application of the load, it will be not of any use, it will not result in required motion. Okay, therefore you should have to choose working stress, or value of working stress should be such that it should always be less than elastic limit. Now, strain at various critical point. In stress strain curve of mild steel, there are critical points like P, Q, R, S, T. For point P, it shows as linear strain occur at point P. So linear strain is of tensile nature. Linear strain E is equals to dl upon L, that is change in length upon original length. Then point ST, when there is much reduction in diameter occurs, and we will see the neck formation. Lateral strain is equals to change in diameter upon original diameter. These were the strain at a different point in the stress strain diagram. Then let's see stress strain curve for high yield strain deformation bars. Now here you can see there is high yield. Yield means what? At constant stress, the material deform too much high. Okay, stress is constant. If you extend that line, if you extend all this line backwards, you will see that there is a constant value of stress. Yield is high. Therefore, these material are called as high yield strength bars, deformable bars. Now then, which value we should consider for D, as there is much more larger region for such values. Therefore, which value should be considered for this yield stress? The thing is given below. We have to consider 0.02%. Okay, HYSD bars have high percentage of carbon as compared to mild strength. Their strength is higher than mild steel, but the yield point is not clearly defined as shown in figure above. These bars are available of two types. One is hot rolled yield strength bars and one is cold rolled high yield strength bars. It is also called as CTD. Bars or star steel are available in two grades, that is Fe415 and Fe500. Basically, a twisted form bars has 50% more yield stress than plain bars. A formed bar has a corrugation on the surface of the bar to increase the bond and prevent slipping of the bar in concrete. Okay, you might have seen the bars used for construction. They are seems to be twisted. Okay, that bars have 50% more yield capacity or yield strength. Then these bars do not show a particular yield point. Therefore, the yield points is taken as 0.2% of proof stress, which is determined by using stress strain curve. Draw a line. How to determine the proof stress? Then here is the given. Draw a line parallel to a stress strain curve corresponding to strain value or 0.02. The point where this line cuts the stress strain curve is taken as the yield stress or 0.2% of proof stress. Then next one is stress strain curve for brittle material. What are the brittle material and what are ductile material? Mild steel or ductile material? And let's see what is ductile material is what? The material which can be drawn into wires. These material are called ductile. And what are the brittle material? Brittle material are those which cannot be drawn into wires. That means if you try to stretch them, it will not yield, it will directly break. Okay, brittle material will not yield, it will directly break. From figure you can easily see that. Okay, you can see there is no yield point or small yield is there. Okay, small yield point is there, and then it is again breaking there. The curve of brittle material is not alike with that mild material. You can see over here. Let us discuss what is brittle material. It is a material such as a concrete or carbon fiber do not have a yield point. Therefore, the ultimate strength and breaking strength are the same. If the steel is heated and then rapidly cooled, it will become more brittle. Okay, to make material brittle, here is the process. You have to heat it to higher temperature and to cool rapidly. Then in that case, the material will automatically be brittle. The next thing is the proportional limit. It's proportional limit of brittle material. From point 0 to P, there is a straight line which shows that stress is directly proportional to strain. From point P, the curve will get slightly deviated. Breaking stress after proportional limit, the material will fail with slight elongation. Factor of safety is what? Now, factor of safety. What is factor of safety? If we have to design any bar, okay, which is used to be in construction, okay, we have to put into the beam. In that case, if by our calculation, if we get the working stress or if we design the value of that bar or value of stress that is to be allowed to follow on that bar is 4 Newton per meter square. Okay, if we have calculated the stress by calculation or for safe working, if it is to be have 4 Newton per meter square, then we should have to select a bar which is having more strength of than the required. That means we should have to select the rod of bearing stress up to 8 Newton per meter square. Our required by calculation our required value is 4 Newton per meter square, but we have to select some greater value, that is 8 Newton per meter square. Okay, but on the other hand, if you are taking higher factor of safety, it will lead to higher cost, because more factor of safety means you should have to choose that rod with bigger diameter. Therefore economic consideration also should be there. By considering all this factor, the factor of safety is chosen. Therefore what is factor of safety then? It is working stress, or it is ratio of ultimate stress upon working stress. Okay, you can see, or maximum stress upon working stress, maximum stress that can be applied on that particular rod to the actual stress that will be that will have to bear that rod. Okay, therefore you can see over here that the formula is given: factor of safety, failure of material when it reaches plastic deformation. So we can say that factor of safety depends on yield point stress. In case of brittle material, factor of safety is equals to ultimate stress upon working stress. So we can say that factor of safety depend upon ultimate stress. Factor of safety has no unit, as it is has same or it is ratio of same quantities. Okay, we will stop here today. Thank you.